Hey, you guys, how are you? How are you? How are you? Welcome back. Welcome back. Those of you that are joining my YouTube, thank you for coming in. Listen, thank you all for subscribing, for liking, for sharing. I really appreciate it. And for those of you that are listening on my podcast, Nonprofit Nuggets with Jennifer Yarbrough, you already know. I appreciate you all also for listening and for your comments and your emails that really encourage my heart. I want to talk today about capacity. Capacity is a word that some people think means money. All right. And what funders mean by capacity is not what most of you think it means. All right. If you guys are new to me, my name is Jennifer. I am a nonprofit expert over 39 years of experience helping organizations put together plans, strategies, systems, and tools so that you not only start your nonprofit, but that you have the structure, the systems, the capacity, and the capability to sustain it. So let's dive right in. If you've ever read a grant rejection or funder guidelines and seen the word capacity and felt confused, maybe discouraged, or even offended, okay, you're not alone. Funders say we're prioritizing organizations with capacity. Or they may say, this grant supports capacity building. Um, or they may say, your organization lacks the capacity to manage this funding. And so, a nonprofit leader, you may hear, oh my gosh, we're too small, or they don't believe in us, or they only fund big organizations. And so, today I want to make it clear. I want to explain it. All right. I want to explain it clearly, calmly, and simply. What funders actually mean by capacity. Because capacity is not about size, it's not about how long you've existed, and it's definitely not about how passionate you are. By the end of this video, you'll understand what capacity really is, what it is not, and how funders assess it, how to start building it without burning yourself out. Okay. Let's start with honesty. Capacity feels like a judgment word, right? You may often hear, you're not good enough yet, or you're not ready, or you're too small. But that's not what capacity means. Funders are not asking, do we like you? They're asking, can this organization safely carry responsibility? I'm going to say that again. They're really asking, can this organization carry this responsibility? Capacity is really about risk, not worth. Let's explain it this way. All right. I'm really working very hard to try to make this as simple as possible. Um, Imagine you're carrying a bucket of water. A small bucket can carry a little water. A bigger bucket can carry more water without spilling. Capacity is how much weight something can hold without breaking. So funders are asking, how much money can this organization hold? How much responsibility can it manage? How much complexity can it handle? Not how badly do you want it or how meaningful is the mission. And let me give you a real life example. Let's say you are applying for a grant for $100,000, right? But currently your budget that you may be operating on is 30,000. Let's say 50,000, right? But now your budget has increased by 100,000. right? You get a grant, 100,000. So now you are managing a budget of 150,000. Your 50 plus the 100. Now, after those grant dollars have been spent, the expectation within the organization is that you're going to be able to maintain that budget of $150,000, right? You just acquired 100. So now the expectation is that your organization now has the capacity to keep up at that level financially. Otherwise, you've spent the 100 and now you're back to 50,000. That means whatever you bought, whatever you hired, whatever you started, you can't complete. You can't continue. You can't maintain. You don't have the capacity to keep it up, right? And so a donor, a funder, a supporter, particularly a grant funder, is looking at your capacity. All right. I want to clear up some myths. Capacity is not how big your heart is, how important the program is, or how many people you need to help. It's not even about how many hours you work or how good your story sounds. Capacity is also not just having a 501c3 or just having a program or just having a proposal. Paperwork shows you exist. Program shows your activity, but capacity shows your reliability, your capability, right? To continue and maintain. When funders say capacity, they're usually talking about 5 things. They're talking about leadership capacity. Is there clear leadership? Not that you're the executive director, but are you able to lead this organization? Are you able to create plan and strategy to scale the organization? Is the decision making stable? Can the organization function without one person doing everything? That's leadership capacity. For those of you that say, Jen, I do everything. I do everything, Jen. I'm the only one that does everything. That's capacity. All right. The second one is governance capacity. Is there an active board? Are roles understood? Is there oversight? Is there a plan and a strategy to scale and to grow and to sustain the organization? If you're the person that says, Jen, I don't know how to find board members. Jen, I have board members, but they're not active. Jen, I have my relatives on my board and, they're there to support me. Or Jen, I need to find passionate board members. That speaks to your governance capacity. All right. Then we have financial capacity. Are funds tracked properly? Is there a budget? Can the organization manage restricted funds? Do you even know what restricted funds are? Can it report accurately? Do you have your financials? Do you have a fundraising strategy or a plan? Are you managing resources beyond your bank statement? Okay. That's what financial capacity or incapacity looks like. All right. Number 4 is operational capacity. Are programs delivered consistently? Are systems written down for your program evaluation? Right? Your goals, your objectives of the program. Is the program achieving its mission? Can work continue if someone leaves? That's operational capacity. And then number 5, fundraising capacity. Is there a plan beyond the grant? Are your donors and your funding diversified? Does the organization understand how money actually comes in? Or are you the person that says, Jen, I'm a nonprofit. We don't have any money. Or Jen, I fund everything out of my own pocket. We don't have any donors. We don't have any supporters. Jen, I don't even know how to find a donor. Jen, how do I funding is my biggest issue. That is fundraising capacity. So capacity equals the ability to handle responsibility repeatedly. I'm going to say that again. Capacity equals the ability to handle responsibility repeatedly. This is where many of you sometimes misunderstand the funder's intention, right? You've got an amazing program, but you're struggling to get grant funding. You have an amazing program, but you just can't seem to get a foothold to get enough money to operate. And I'm going to say to you that funders, the grant funder particularly, are stewards. They are also accountable to boards, to donors, to government, to communities. If they give money to organizations without capacity, then money gets misused, programs collapse, people get harmed, trust is broken. So funders ask, if we give you this money, will it still matter a year from now? That's capacity. Here's the hard but freeing truth. Grants do not build capacity from nothing. They assume it already exists. Grants are fuel. Capacity is the engine. If you pour fuel into an engine that does not exist, then nothing moves. Actually, damage happens and everyone is frustrated. That's why funders often say, come back when you have more capacity. They're not rejecting your mission. They're protecting the investment, right? Capacity is not built overnight, but it is built intentionally. And here's some simple starting points. Clarify your leadership roles, not just your board, but also your role. Your role as the executive director, right? Your role as the CEO, being very clear about that role. Activate your board, build a realistic budget, track basic outcomes, document simple processes, right? And learn fundraising as a skill. Capacity comes with or grows with or comes from consistency, discipline, learning, systems. You always hear me talk about systems all the time. And the time. Who is taking the time to manage the capacity, right? It does not come from hustle or panic or chasing money. When you understand capacity, rejection stops feeling personal. You stop asking, why won't they fund us? And start asking, what do we need to strengthen next? That shift changes everything. When you begin to understand that all we have to do is strengthen our internal capacity, once that happens, you're good, right? Capacity is not a barrier, it's a roadmap. So when funders talk about capacity, remember this: they're not questioning your heart, they're reassuring your ability to carry responsibility. Program changes lives. Organizations protect impact. And capacity sustains them both. And once you understand that, funding stops feeling mysterious and really starts feeling manageable. All right. I am Jennifer. I am your nonprofit expert. Over 39 years of helping organizations not just start, but build the systems, the structure, the capacity so that they're able to sustain themselves year after year and do the work that's important, not only to them, but to their funders as well. I'll see you next time.